Okay, good afternoon, good evening to Sweden.
Hello, Debbie, and welcome.
It's like being on the Eurovision Song Contest. Good evening, Sweden.
Yeah, hello, Dublin. No, I felt really like a judge on the Eurovision Song Contest, yeah.
Sweden,
I'm all excited, Debbie.
Oh my God, it's so good to see you all together. Okay, so I'll do an introduction first, okay, just so that people have an idea who the family we're talking to. So many years ago, the man in the middle, how many years ago? Vinny, 30 years ago, was it? No.
48 maybe.
38 years. Northsider.
Yeah, 38 maybe.
Wouldn't be far off it. Northsider was a printer in Dublin, went to Lisdoonvarna with the hope of finding some kind of love, and we were all laughing at the idea of it. Went off with your tent and somebody else, and you came back and told us that you'd met a Swedish blonde and that you were going to go and live in Sweden, and we all fell around the place laughing for weeks on end, thinking that you were obviously smoking something stronger than him. But as it happened, then you did go to Sweden, and Bitten is sitting on your right in blue, and we just could not believe that our little friend Vinny had actually met Lisdoonvarna, and you went off to her country land of Sweden, and you went to the north of Sweden to meet her parents, and the whole thing to us was just the most exotic story that we'd ever heard in our entire lives on the north side of Dublin. So I actually didn't really think, Vinny, you'd last, and I cannot believe 38 years later we're talking to you.
You mean I'd last on my own, or I'd be kicked out?
I can't believe that somebody that was calm and cool as Bitten was, so would last with you, who was so and the red hair that you used to have, and you're so different to her. And then of course you went on to have two magnificent daughters, and that's Sarah sitting to your right. So I want to stop talking. So just tell me, Vinny, what has your life been like? A Northsider from Belton Park, and you're living in Sweden for the last 38 years. Just give me a brief rundown on that.
Well, nothing much has changed, Debbie, because I tell you, when I arrived here in Gothenburg in the beginning, there were only about 3 pubs in the place.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And like I confirmed that, I can say it like this, Debbie, nothing has changed for me in the last 37 years. I've been on lockdown.
Because the
Swedes didn't socialise then in 1983.
Right.
They're not doing much socialising now, a little bit more, you know. But I'm just glad the whole world has had their COVID-19, because now they know what it's like where I've had it the last 37 years.
Well, I can understand that, because when we went to your wedding, you warned us all to bring our own booze with us, and the Irish all rattled it with bag booze. It was extraordinary. It was so controlled and so quiet, and life was so organised, and the streets were quiet at night time. It was so different to Dublin. So fair play.
Like Dublin now.
Yes.
Like exactly. Dublin today, yeah.
So you went on, Bitten's an architect. You went on to be you were a printer in Sweden, yeah. And your life was, I mean, it is a totally different place to north side of Dublin. I mean, I remember when we visited you first, I remember the prisoners cycling in and out of the prisons, going to work every day. And I had to
yeah, they let them out for the day once they went back in the evening.
They do something now with some prisoners, but like at the time, that was the most ridiculous thing. And the other thing I remember, you should put your hands over your ears for this, Sarah. The other thing I remember when I was there was seeing these huge billboards of like coloured sweets for children. And then I discovered they were condoms, and I could not believe that people that were like 14 were able to have sex without being sent to hell, you know? That was another thing for me, because it's so open there and it was so closed in Ireland. You know, even your own mum, Vinny, I know, struggled with Bitten coming over, and I think...
Yeah, I know. When I came here and met Bitten's parents for the first time, like I thought I was going to get the guest room.
Yeah.
And then Vicky comes into the bedroom.
Yeah.
I was just about to take my pajamas out there. You had to tuck them back into the case again. I said, what are you sleeping here?
I remember your own mammy, God rest her, but I think even when you were engaged and you came back to Dublin, she put the pair of you in separate rooms. I mean, she just wasn't having it at all. You know, extraordinary. Sarah, you wouldn't even understand it. I mean, really, you just didn't do that in Ireland at all. But anyway, we don't have all day for this conversation, but just with the COVID, I know you're laughing about it and all that, but really, Sweden handled COVID in a different way. You did the herd immunity, which I mean, I'm not a scientist or a doctor, so I'm not even going to go into it, but the whole world was watching what you did. And I was watching your doctor, is it the other night, Giesek, is it?
Anders Tegnell. Anders Tegnell.
There was a doctor, can you hear me?
Yeah, Anders Tegnell. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. There was a doctor on the other night, Dr. Giesek, I think, a grey-haired man.
Giesek, yeah.
And so clever, so balanced, and he was talking about your herd immunity. So talk to me, Vinny, about what it's been like there from that point of view. You're not locked down.
No, we're not locked down, Debbie, and I'm a caretaker at a school here.
Yeah.
And I'm still meeting about 300 students every day, a staff of over 85 people. And it would feel strange to be coming back and closing the front door behind me on Friday and not having to go out again until Monday morning.
Yeah.
So, like, for me, things haven't changed that much. I'm still able to go down to the bar with the dog if I want to, you know.
Right.
And I haven't really noticed any difference.
Okay.
I'm still working as well, but you're supposed to work at home if you can, and if you have meetings, it's good if you take them outside instead, and you check that they're not infected.
Yeah. I mean, it is a lot more quiet outside, but bars and restaurants would still be open.
Every second table is taken.
People are avoiding using the trams and the buses.
Okay.
And
so
town is a lot quieter, but it's not shut down.
Okay, so that was
the restaurants are still open.
Because Giesek was saying that overall he thinks the numbers will even out, the deaths will even out, but actually your economic damage won't be as bad as ours. That's the big difference.
Yeah.
But Sarah, let me just talk to you before we do run out of time. You are a corona nurse at the moment.
Yes, I am.
Wow, what's that like? My God, fair play to you. You're fabulous.
Well, actually, I don't think it's that much more different than my regular job as a nurse at the hospital. It's, I mean, it's a tough job. It's always so many things to do and never enough time. So I think the only difference is that we have to put on this gear before meeting the patients. Otherwise, it's kind of the same job, I think.
Okay, and are your wards packed with sick people? Have you got many people coming in with corona?
Yeah, we do. The hospital where I work at has become what we call an epidemic hospital. So the whole hospital, it's only corona patients coming in today. So yeah, we do have a lot of sick people.
And you're allowed to come home then, and it doesn't matter. They're not isolated the staff anywhere. You're allowed to come home.
They're telling us that we shouldn't be afraid. And I mean, my coworkers, they're 70. Some of them are, retiring this summer, and they work with the patients. So yeah, I'm definitely allowed coming home after my shift is over.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Even though your dad is old as he is. Even though your dad is
Exactly, yeah. I mean, some people would be a bit scared though, but I think most of my coworkers are really calm and cool in all of this.
Yes. Well, you see, as a race of people, you are much calmer and cooler than the Irish, I think, in general. Really.
But they tell us the people over 70 to stay at home.
Yeah, exactly. People over 70.
Over 70.
Oh,
yeah.
And you're supposed to reduce your social contacts with about 60 to 70%, I think they've said.
Or even more.
Or even more.
The
so
family.
yeah.
Okay.
And a few more.
So it's kind of on your own conscious. If you want to go out and take a pint, it's like you're allowed to, but you feel bad doing it because you should stay at home.
So it's, they're basically leaving it up to yourselves to make the
Yeah, they're basically leaving the responsibility up to the individual.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Well, they couldn't do that here because everybody was out.
Yeah, I heard that they closed down Temple Bar after all the pictures on social media.
Ridiculous. So, and we had no choice. I mean, people were being stupid. So obviously Swedes are much cleverer at being more responsible than we are. That's obviously the thing, you know. And Vinny, so you're going to retire there. You're going to spend your retirement obviously in Sweden. That's your plan.
Well, I haven't really thought about it, Debbie. That's in a good few years.
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah.
That we all forget is you've so much space there. I mean, it's a huge country compared to our country.
Yeah, it is.
The other thing. Like,
and I think that's why the restrictions they've been handling the COVID-19 differently over here because of the vastness of the country. It's 3 times greater than Great Britain. We're 8-9 million people.
Jeepers.
So I mean, like London alone has what 9 million people living in it.
Yeah.
So I think that you have to take consideration to the circumstances here as well.
Yeah. So there's exactly.
What, do you not think so, Debbie? No.
The what?
You don't think so? No. I mean, like it's very individual for each country.
Yeah, it is very. I mean, New York City is a disaster because there's so many people.
Yeah.
You know, I suppose. You know, and then Italy had so many old people, I think, as well, and it's the population so quickly. You know. And listen to me now. Sweden is such a magnificent country. Will you be inclined to stay there this year? They're asking Irish people to stay at home now. Well, there's no flights. So will you all holiday now in Sweden this year? Is that the plan, or?
No, we're on lockdown in that respect. There's no flights.
Okay.
From Sweden.
Yeah, and we're not supposed to go abroad.
And they have asked us to stay at home,
At
the Easter, and that they didn't want people from Stockholm and Gothenburg travelling to the countryside.
They tell you to not go abroad as well, to stay in the country.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's no checks, no checkups.
There's no checks anywhere. The only thing is it's an easy country to stay in because you've good weather in the summer and it's a beautiful country.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Can I ask you, what was the hardest part about Sweden? What did you miss most about Ireland?
Well, in the beginning, the pubs.
Yeah.
There's not that much I miss now, to be honest. I mean, of course, family and friends then you miss. But the actual country itself, I don't really miss much of it.
Yeah. I know, because you were so Irish. You were so Irish, you know. I mean, you know, really and truly, Vinny, you did settle in incredibly well. Bitten, what did you find marrying an Irish man? What was like? I mean, really, there's not many Swedish blondes end up marrying an Irish man. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, I thought it was a bit odd, but I think all Irish people are.
Yeah, right.
Sarah, do you come to Ireland much?
Yeah, I do. I love being in Ireland. I try to go over once a year, maybe once every 6 years.
And have you traveled? Have you traveled in Ireland?
Yeah, I have. I have. I would like to do some more traveling. When I was a kid, we used to go over and camp in the countryside, which was nice. I would like to do that, but as an adult and with friends. That would be nice. Yeah.
Stay away from Lisdoonvarna. You might end up marrying someone like
Yeah, I want to avoid that.
Vinny, we're all kind of thinking we're all going to have to make huge changes in our lives because we're all jumping on planes for golf trips and girlfriends weeks away, and our lives are all moving too fast and we're buying too much. I'm not sure Sweden are going to have to make the same amount of changes because when I was there, I always felt everybody lived a very pared back lifestyle, you know, a very simple lifestyle compared. You're not as materialistic, I don't think, as we are. So what changes do you think you'll make going forward, or do you have to make changes to cope with the virus?
I don't think I'll be making. I don't think Sorry, Debbie, I didn't hear that last.
I think the world has to make changes.
Yeah.
Sarah,
I think people have to change, Debbie, but unfortunately people won't change. We had the banking crisis in the 80s, the financial crisis of the 90s, COVID-19 now, and it'll be forgotten about in another 10 years, unfortunately.
do you think?
I really do think so. And I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. I don't think this is the only virus to affect us. I think this is just the beginning of it, to be honest.
I
Do you
don't.
not think so yourself? No.
I'm trying to think positively all the time. I think we're all going to make huge changes, but I have to say, I think people will go back very quickly to wanting their holidays, wanting to run into shops, wanting to, you know, I mean, people are, the amount of online deliveries up and down the streets, people are like ordering lipstick online and somebody's delivering it to your house. Like, it's mental. Like the carbon footprint, it's just insane for what people are ordering online. We don't need half the shit that we're buying, you know.
I was watching a documentary a few months back, Debbie, and there was a term used on that I'd never heard. Fast fashion. Have you heard that?
Oh, we know it very well. Yeah.
I just couldn't believe it. That the textile industry, the fashion industry are designing clothes to be worn once.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's the bloggers and reality people who are promoting it.
Yeah.
Basically.
It's, I mean, they're talking about it. They're asking kids here, teenage kids, not to buy into fast fashion, you know, and we're trying to convince people to buy less and to buy better, you know, instead of going into big stores like H&M and Penny's and buying bags of, you know, 10 bikinis, one in every color, 10 pairs of sandals, one in every color. And the unfortunate side of that is they're being manufactured then by people who are all on no wages practically, you know. So it really, it's all, are you getting educated about that in schools over there? Are your children being educated about stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. From early ages, from kindergarten, I think they start to educate kids. Yeah.
Oh, about what, Sarah? About
the environment and what do you call it? Footprint that you leave.
Global footprint.
How you yourself, how you live your life, and how that reflects and affects the
coming generation
and the coming generations.
But I have hope in the young people with Greta Thunberg, for example. She's incredible.
Who
and
is
it's a lot of
Greta
Thunberg, yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, there is a lot of young people and they will vote in a couple of years. And I think they will make a difference. And they make their parents to do another choice as well.
Yes, I agree.
So I have hope in the young people.
Yeah. And are your schools, like, have you guidelines to live by? Like, would they be suggesting you only fly twice a year, or you only take planes 4 times a year? Do you have any guidelines to work to, or is it your own moral standards?
It would be up to your own moral standards. You would educate and give the facts, but you wouldn't tell anyone what to do.
You wouldn't tell a friend either.
No.
You know, it's up to everybody.
It's
up to your conscience.
Yeah. I love the simple, I mean, even like wealthy people in Sweden seem to live a very simple life. The houses are quite simple. The furniture is quite simple. You know, it's not nearly as materialistic as our world, which I just loved. And I was fascinated by it. It's also, you know, it's all so simple. The whole world, you know, well, in Gothenburg anyway, everybody seems to, maybe that's it's obviously that's to do with socialism as well. And even socialism ethos, that's really what that's about, is it? I mean, we do.
Well, maybe it could be. It's, I think it has changed though. We're not running after the status, the position in life, status. I don't know.
The status, you know, of having a status in life.
Yes. You're
it's
not.
More,
they're not, no.
No, but I think people in Sweden, we have changed a bit and getting more like Europe the last years.
Okay,
as well.
That's not a good thing.
And it's not a good thing. No.
But I do think, though, I mean, me, my friends, and everyone I know, that nature would be like a big thing, and going out on hikes and for your holidays, it wouldn't be odd for you and your friends to go up to the north and rent a cabin and stuff like that. So that's a big thing here, to being outdoors and doing, you know, sports and wildlife and things like that.
And appreciating nature, I suppose, you know.
Yeah.
I guess so,
Yeah, well, good for you all. I can't keep this going for long because I want to be able to post it, and I can't if it's too long. But Sarah, I mean, no, first of all, to you, well done for sticking an Irish man for 38 years. A man
it hasn't been easy.
Did you hear that? It hasn't been easy.
Oh, I did. Fair play. I mean, you did win the lottery when you went to Lisdoonvarna that weekend, and you're a woman. You did. Sarah, I mean, you're the first actual frontline nurse I've been talking to. I mean, you're stunning on the inside, stunning on the outside. Fair play to you. You're doing a fabulous job. I mean, really, you people are the people that are putting your lives on the line for all of us, you know. So from all of us, Ireland, everybody across the world.
Thank you.
It's fabulous.
Great talking to you.
Keep safe. Keep safe. And don't let Sweden get like Europe.
No,
you're right.
You're right.
Okay.
Bye.